saying that. Plug my camera in. I'm not saying that it's a big win. It's not like an outright win. It's not like we super duper won. We kind of sort of won a little bit and kind of around the edges. But we're not done yet. According to the fearless leader of the United States of America, we're not done yet. We won, but just like in football, after one team wins, both teams stay on the field, and then the team that won tries to convince the team that lost that they lost, because the team that lost in football always ends up with a higher score and more points on the board, which is confusing to some people. That's why a lot of people aren't football fans, because football works a lot like the U.S.-Iran conflagration. Glad I said that properly, because I'm pretty sure I couldn't spell it. But this is a very large international kerfuffle. This is a misunderstanding of epic proportions. Pretty much what happened there. So the good news is that Israel's okay. They're doing great, which is more important than really anything else. I mean, obviously our economy is secondary to theirs. And the most important thing is that we take care of them, because, God said so. T.J. Davis. Huh. Interesting. I know a guy named Tom Davis, and he named his son TJ because of a friend of his named TJ. Is that right? He had a friend named TJ, so he named his son TJ. That's not a name, though, is it? Huh. Hey, whoa. What is this? Donald Trump is Jesus Christ. You want to go to hell for that? Donald Trump, then Jesus Christ, then us. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's get around to it. Let's do this. Let's go to look at some numbers, shall we? Let's look at some numbers. Banks are choking. The AI debt bubble is about to burst. Yep, saw that coming. Good news, AI probably won't kill us. Bad news, it's going to bankrupt us. Silver price is up a little, but not really by much, just sort of floating around in the mid-70s like it has been for a while. It'll continue to do so until we work out what's going on, or somebody runs out of money, which, when I say money, silver, which could happen very soon. If the COMEX gets exposed, anything along those lines, then yeah, but otherwise, it's just cruising. The best case scenario for our economy, silver only goes to 150. Best case scenario for us silver owners is it goes to 300. Like I said at the end of last year, beginning of this year, before it went to 120 and did its crazy shit. And the reason I said that was because I saw silver at 300 by December of this year for a very specific reason, and that was we're running out. And the more we use industry, the faster we run out. Pretty simple. Now, I said that this war may change that because when you cut off the power, and by the way, just so we're clear, well, you know what? If you loved silver, then and Joey, yes, it is. So if you love silver, Paul Allen, absolutely nothing. Say it again. Buy some silver for me. I have silver. I'm that guy. And by the way, buffaloes are 999 fine. Oh yeah, you see that, don't you? See those 4 9s? You know what that means? That means that the silver ones that I have are worth approximately 6 cents more than the ones that you can get from the other guys. I know, it's not much. I mean, it's not much. It's, that extra 9 on the end. Remember, it's tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000ths. So it's very, very tiny amount, but it's as pure as you can get. You can't get more pure silver than that, period. So it's good stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff. So call me if you want some. Got some. Got some more coming in, which is good. I think that the reason that I'm optimistic again now, because there for a while I was like, anything that's silver, man. Now, from February 28th, basically all of March and some of April, you'll notice I didn't even talk about silver. I didn't bring it up. I didn't say it was going to explode. I didn't say, call me and buy some. And the reason I didn't do that, the reason I was treading very lightly on silver is because in spite of the fact that that's my company, that's what I do, I can't really recommend anything unless I'm sure of what I'm saying, because lying is not good. It's not good. Not a good thing. So I decided to just zip it until I could tell you something that was true. Here's what's true. We fucked the world over horribly in terms of power. Iran just bombed the UAE. Okay, the UAE just broke away from OPEC. For the first time, OPEC, this incredibly illegal cartel of countries that was allowed to exist for the only reason I can think of is that they swore to use the American dollar as a backer, as a backup, so the petrodollar could exist. So based on that, we allowed this cartel to artificially push the price of oil up so that you and I had to spend over the course of our lives probably $100,000 more than we should have spent. Gas should be $2 a gallon right now. Okay? So be real clear about that. Gas should be $2 a gallon. Based on OPEC being able to manipulate the price, and for Saudi Arabia to be able to say to people like the UAE, a massive producer of oil, don't you dare open up your pumps. Yeah, but we want to sell more. We want to make more money. No. Shut your pumps off, because if you shut your pumps off, we can raise the price. Well, it's easy for you to say. You're selling 50 million barrels a year. Actually, more like a month. But we're only selling X amount, even though we've got this huge reserve. Saudi Arabia says, yeah, well, guess what? We're the biggest guys in OPEC, and we say, slow down. Well, that broke. Finally, after 51 years, OPEC broke. And the UAE said, you know what? We're selling as much as we want. We're out of this. I just got a restriction because I'm not selling the oil that's on TikTok for sale. Apparently, just got a restriction. Literally, it just said my visibility is going to be restricted because I'm telling you about something that you can't buy on the TikTok marketplace, or that you could buy, but I'm sending you somewhere else to go buy it. This is how fucked up TikTok is nowadays. It's literally telling me that watch the viewers drop 10 minutes. I'm restricted now. And the reason I'm restricted is because I'm talking about something that I should be selling on TikTok marketplace, but I'm redirecting people. Maddie, I don't have any thoughts on that. I never even consider it. Think it was the silver. It could have been. It could have been. But, that was 10 minutes ago. Normally when they hit me within about a minute. Well, you guys have seen, as soon as I use the R word or I say something that they don't like, about a minute later is when they kick me off the live stream for usually about an hour. Let's get back to it. UAE was attacked this morning by Iran. Okay, well, Maddie, you got my attention. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Let's see. Okay. Let's just look up what the fuck is dialectic materialism. The Marxist philosophy framework combining materialism, okay, reality is objective and material, independent of the mind, and dialectics. Change occurs through contradiction and interaction. Oh, masturbation. Okay. So, yeah, that works. Except I'm pretty sure Karl Marx was basically just a plant. I don't like most forms of everybody works and then everybody divides, and that's just the way it is. Don't like that because unless you are a homogenous group of people, nobody wants to do that. I did not know that Karl Marx and Lincoln were pen pals. That is a very interesting tidbit. So, can someone explain dialectic materialism in simple terms? I don't think they give degrees to people for explaining that in stuff like that in simple terms. Cambodian do that a lot. Cambodians were Marxist. I'm not sure that that's a good example because Cambodians were just vicious. The Khmer Rouge was odd. That was weird. Like, if you go to rice paddies to this day and walk around in the rice paddies, there's a good chance that at some point you're going to step on a pair of glasses. And the reason is people who wore glasses were considered intelligentsia. They were the intelligent group, and therefore they were killed. So people would literally take their glasses off and just throw them into a rice paddy so that they wouldn't be murdered for being too smart. Oh, the UAE, it's gone. It's gone. It's what's left of the UAE now looks like the UAE of 4 months ago. It is not. Dubai is dead. Just remember that I said Dubai is dead. Number one, they're Sunnis and the Shia hate them. Number two, they have given themselves this air of invincibility because we're not like the rest of these sort of backwards countries where religion rules. We're cool. So, hey, all you Westerners and all you Russians and all you Kazakhstanis and Chinese who have billions of dollars, come here to play. We'll turn a blind eye as long as you keep that shit in the hotels. Don't drink on the street. We're cool. Okay. Well, then, that's not going to happen anymore. All of those luxury resorts, all of those luxury hotels, I mean, pick something. The Burj Khalifa. Who wants to be in the world's largest, tallest target? And it is a target. Well, unfortunately, now they're not going to put out more oil because they broke away from OPEC a few days ago. And over the weekend, they announced that they wanted nothing to do with OPEC anymore. They were going out on their own. And today, Iran hit their oil fields. Now, how bad? We don't know because the news that's coming out of the Middle East is so bullshit. It's so completely corrupted that we don't really know. Everybody's got their own version of what they want people to think. Al Jazeera is completely off to one side, and then you've got U.S. like Fox News completely off to a different direction. They're basically Israel TV, which of course you can say about CNN now that they're owned by the Ellisons and Paramount Plus and CNN and on and on and on. So that's all Israeli TV, and then you can go to RT, Russia Today. The Russians have a very different take on what's going on over there. The Chinese are pissed and they're not going to put up with it anymore. We've caused them enough harm. We've done enough damage to their economy. And so they're done. But the UAE is finished because pivoting from look, we're the tourist hub. We're like the Las Vegas of the Middle East where you can do whatever you want as long as it's behind closed doors. No, that's gone now. This is where the rich come to play. Nope, that's gone now. Hey, this is the safest country. Nope, that's gone now. So all of those $100 million, condos on the water, all these incredibly, amazing structure. Well, they're done. Nobody's going to use them. Nobody wants to go there. For a month, you couldn't even get out of the country. So they pivoted and said, okay, you know what? Hey, we still got oil coming out of our ass and ears. Let's just sell that. No, you're not going to do that either. You're going to suffer because you stood by and watched Israel attack Iran. Remember, the Sunni and the Shia may not get along. They may have completely different ideas of what Islam should be, but they're Muslim. And for the Sunnis to basically sell out to Israel and to just go along to get along, hoping that later they can reason with Israel, there's no reasoning. There's no reasoning. You do what you're told, you survive. Period. Maybe, if you're not in the way. So the UAE is basically neutralized at this point. They're meaningless. Now, that also affects the world's oil capacity tremendously. So we've got helium, extremely important for making chips, for chip manufacturing, that now China can't get their hands on enough of it. Neither can Taiwan or Japan, or very importantly, South Korea. We have an oil shortage, which is power to the energy to the entire globe. but mostly Europe and Asia. What else? Let's see. Natural gas, of course, heating oil. This coming winter, if we don't resolve this pretty soon, things are going to be so backed up that heating oil is going to cost people 4, 5, 600 times what it costs now. This is just starting. This is not ending. This is just starting. And what's going to happen from here? Fertilizer is a huge one. Good point. I hadn't even remembered fertilizer, but fertilizer could be the biggest one. Cars can run off natural gas. Yeah, that would be great if anybody in the world had it. Russia's got it, so that's good. We're going to help the Russians a lot. Russia's made a tremendous amount of money on this. Isn't that ironic that Iran made a huge amount of money on this war? Why do you think the U.S. lets the oil companies get away with? Because they control the United States Senate and Congress. They control the governors. They control the independent houses in the states where there's oil. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year lobbying. What is lobbying? Bribing politicians. So if you can find a way as a politician to ride the lightning between the U.S. energy sector, the U.S. defense sector, and the Israeli lobby, if you can figure out a way to put those all together, you could become president. Doesn't matter what your criminal history is or whatever. Figure out how to get those three things into a confluence, and you will instantly guarantee yourself at least becoming a senator, at least becoming extremely important in the Senate. So, what committee will you be on? Ways and Means, probably. Energy, probably. Intelligence, definitely, because your people are going to want to know what's going on. And when I say your people, the energy sector, the defense sector, and Israel are going to want to know what's going on. What are you folks talking about behind closed doors? Because remember, there are no closed doors to us. We're the guys who pay. I mean, yeah, some idiot in North Carolina thinks that you work for him because you're the senator from North Carolina or from Kentucky or whatever. But keep in mind that that's $170,000, $180,000 a year. That's peanuts. That's nothing. Nothing at all. When you think about it, it's like Colin Powell. Colin Powell made a fool of himself. He made an absolute fool of himself. He went in front of the United Nations and talked about the mobile enrichment vehicles that they had in Iraq and where the tubes were and the yellow cake and all this stuff that he knew was bullshit. He knew it was all bullshit. Did you know that Colin Powell's son, who had zero experience, had just gotten out of college and had never had a job in his life, completely worthless human being, chairman of the FCC? What? Wait. Why would you do that? Let them eat yellow cake. Can you explain why you are ready to talk silver again? Absolutely. Because we've put ourselves in a position now where, as the gas station to the world, we are going to fill up all 870 tankers that I'm aware of right now, right this fucking minute, that want oil. There's 700 over on the other side of the world that want to come over here. There's 170 plus sitting offshore in right here in the United States right now. And man, they want to gas up and go. They want to get oil and get out of here. Okay, well, that is probably half of our strategic reserve plus everything else we've got laying around, like everywhere. The problem, of course, is that we don't set the price. You and I don't set the price. If we could set the price, then we'd be fine. But what we're dealing with now is we're dealing with an artificially created oil shortage like the planet's never seen. We've never seen anything like this. Oil shortages of the 70s where there were lines of cars, and that is absolutely nothing compared to what we just created with this war. Because of that, we're going to see prices in the $110, $120, $130 range. Now, if UAE had broken away from OPEC under other circumstances and just decided to sell oil, and OPEC had broken up, that would have put pressure on Russia to pump more and drop their price. It would have put pressure on Saudi Arabia. The United Arab Emirates would have started pumping like crazy. It could have easily dropped the price of oil to $40 a barrel, in which case you'd have $2 a gallon gas again. $2 a gallon gas. What you have to understand about that, it sounds great. Like, okay, great. You know, I'm so glad I bought that F-350. Well, there's more to it than that, though, because if you have a situation where you have $2 gasoline, and let's say $2.20 diesel, what you just did was you created an enormous amount of extra money in the economy for other things. All of a sudden, everything just got cheaper. Everybody's got more money in their pocket because they're not spending an extra $400 a month. Think about it, $5,000 a year that they just took out of our pockets because of this war. That's how much it went up. If it went down by that much, can you imagine an extra $5,000 a year in your pocket overnight? And on top of that, all goods and services that had anything to do with energy would also go down tremendously. So you've got more money and everything gets cheaper. Holy shit. Not only is that a boom for the GDP, but for us personally, that's not going to happen. That's not what will happen. Sorry, guys. I didn't start this war. I'm super not in favor of this war. This whole thing about Iran wants nuclear weapons. You either don't trust the CIA because you know that all of their materials are skewed because they want to go to war in the Middle East all the time. And so you can't believe them on Afghanistan. You can't believe them on Iraq. Obviously, they lied us into Iraq. They told us that the Iraqis had weapons of mass destruction, and they didn't. So when we finally get to a country where the CIA says, no, not these guys, we go, you're full of shit. You're wrong. Wait, but they lied to us about Afghanistan. They lied to us about Iraq. They lied to us about Libya. They lied to us about Syria. They created ISIS, for God's sake. They created Al-Qaeda. So now all of a sudden, we don't believe them because they're too dovish? What? In what world does that make sense? The CIA has been trying to drag us into foreign wars from the day they were created, and they've been extremely successful at it. We've been in dozens of wars that we don't even know about. The ones that we do know about, we just go, well, those we just, fomented a coup. What's that mean? We killed people. So we were actually looking down the barrel of weapons in anger at people. Yeah, we were. Yep, hot war. Well, why didn't we call it that? Well, because, connotations, so police action, military intervention, weekend excursion, weekend at Bernie's. I mean, call it whatever you like. But that's what we've been doing. So unfortunately, this time it bit us on the ass really bad. Well, the thing is, when you get war hawks, when you get these chicken hawk bastards that say, "Listen, we want to go to war all the time, no matter what." Okay, so can we go to war with this country? And they say, "Well, I wouldn't go to war with them because they don't actually seem to be really against us." So you're saying they're against us? No, we're saying that we spy on them the same way we spy on everybody else. We have looked up. We've looked up their skirt. We've looked down their nose, in their ears. They don't have a nuclear program. So you're saying they got a nuclear program? No, that's not what they said. Okay, so we should go bomb that to oblivion. We should obliterate it. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. So we did. And then 6 months after, it was completely and utterly destroyed forever to never return ever again. It was back. So, whose fault is this war? Well, clearly it's Israel's fault, but clearly it's our fault. It's our fault. We've gotten to the point now where the powers that be find us so laughably disconnected from anything that would be called citizenship that they just do whatever they want. China is coming in through Alaska. Yeah, that's not going to happen. By the way, way up there by Alaska, that's Russia, not China. Yeah, we try to pick wars that we can win eventually, and then we don't pick real wars. Real war is total war. Total war is to give you an example. It's already happening. Okay. I hope you're not talking about the invasion of Alaska. Total war is different. Total war is what Japan was doing to China. The grape of Nanking, where they would bet each other how many people they could behead in a day just using their sword, and they keep track, 100 a day, 200 a day each. And the reason that they wanted to do that is they knew that if they could do that to enough people, they could destroy the fabric of that society. And once you destroy the fabric of the society, its institutional memory, then that's it. It's gone forever. Japan did that too, went to Alaska, got wiped out last week. So let's see. Oil and yields drop, stocks and crypto pop as Iran truce holds. Iran truce holds. That's interesting because I'm pretty sure that's not what happened this morning. They bombed the UAE. It just makes me wonder, man. All right, let's see. Wow. The Trump DOJ probes 36 Illinois school districts for secretly transitioning kids behind their parents' backs. How would you do that? Will UAE hit back? No, they can't. There's really not much we can do, or not much they can do, I should say. DOJ sues Minnesota to block climate lawsuit targeting energy companies. Well, of course it does. Don't mess with oil companies or defense contractors. They run most of the United States. What they don't run, Israel does. Let's see. Stocks higher as geopolitical tensions unwind. Is that really what's happening? Would you say that the geopolitical tensions are unwinding? Let's take a look at that and see. All right, now this is Google News, so it'll be from the Google perspective. Okay. U.S.-Iran ceasefire holding for now, Hegseth says, as Trump looks, blah, blah, blah. I'm not even going to finish reading that, actually, because it's kind of silly. All right. Wow. As Trump focuses on Iran, Europe and Ukraine strengthen ties. That's a really bad idea. That's a really bad idea there, Europe. You are doing something really stupid. Let's see. Where would the U.S., I could care less about that. Local, no. All right, let's look at the top stories. No. News, world. There we go. Let's see if there's anything in here. Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, Europe's a mess. Europe is just a freaking mess right now. And, after their civil war is over, then maybe they'll be in a position to make better decisions. But, right now they're not in a position to try to figure anything out. Oh, well, now this has changed. See, this is the kind of shit that makes you wonder. UAE comes under Iranian attacks for second consecutive day. That's Al Jazeera. Reuters says UAE air defenses engage missiles and drones. Tehran denies attacking UAE. Now, those stories could both be true because it could very easily be Israel that's attacking the UAE, because Israel will do whatever it takes to draw other nations into this conflict, up to and including false flags. And by the way, remember at the beginning of the war, Mossad agents were caught in Saudi Arabia and was it Bahrain setting explosives. Oh yeah, they were going to blow up some friends just to make sure that everybody understood that it wasn't them. It was the bad guys. Let's see. Russian attacks kill more than 20 ahead of rival ceasefires proposed by Kiev and Moscow. Moscow's not leaving until they get what they want. That's a fact. There's no way in the world they're leaving until they get what they want. China fireworks factory explosion kills dozens. Why does this not surprise me at all? File this under least surprising thing I've heard today is that people in China work basically as indentured servants and no safety at work at all. The Romanian government collapses after no confidence vote. Okay. Romania's pro-EU coalition government collapses. Interesting. Watch over the next year as extremist right-wing parties take over all of Europe. And the reason I say that they're going to take over all of Europe is because people have been being stuffed into Europe that shouldn't be there, and people are starting to get really pissed. Now, is it being done on purpose? Obviously it is. There's no government in Europe, none of the people in the governments of Europe could possibly be dumb enough to think that, hey, we can just take people from Afghanistan and men from Somalia, and let's get some guys from Pakistan who are poor. They've never been around women before that weren't objects. Let's take these guys from countries where if you look at a woman in public, it could get you killed, and let's drop them off in a place where women aren't afraid to wear bikinis. Yes. And when the white native populations of these countries start to fight back, which they already are now, it will be very violent. I can assure you of that. Remember World War II? Remember World War I? There's only one thing other than, science, interstellar space travel. Other than that, there's only a couple of things that white people are really, really good at. But war is definitely one of them. The Europeans, specifically the Scandinavians and the Vikings, are very good at that shit. Well, they're ready. They're ready. I saw a video today of a group of guys in England, and it was very funny because these men were all wearing burqas. All of them were dressed head to toe in burqas, and they were talking about how awesome this is, that if they wear a burqa, we can get away with anything. Nobody knows who they are. Pretty cool, actually, if you think about it. And then you'll also see that there are a lot of guys out there that have decided to take it upon themselves to sort of patrol the streets and watch when there are little girls on their way home from school to see what kind of immigrants might be trying to talk to them, and or in one case grab a girl. Unfortunately, he waited until she was at her own father's property, and when her father heard her yell, he unleashed his dogs. And it's a funny thing about Muslims and dogs. Dogs are haram. That's not good. They don't like dogs. And so when these dogs attacked this guy, it really ruined his day. But, since at the time when they attacked him, he was actively trying to kidnap this little girl, I think what he got next was pretty fair, actually, just my opinion. Not reporting. It's personal judgment. But yeah, defending the goal line isn't enough. The IDF entrenches its grip in southern Lebanon. So in order to be safe, they have to attack other countries. And the reason they attack other countries is because those other countries have people in them that hate them. And why do those people hate them? Because they're attacking the other countries. Hezbollah did not exist until Israel went into southern Lebanon the first time, back in 82, 83, something like that. So they've created, and obviously, there's no question in anybody's mind, the facts are in. And Netanyahu did give money to Qatar to give to Hamas. There's no question. He signed the receipts. And the reason he did that was because Qatar knew that he would hang them out to dry and lie eventually and say, I didn't give Hamas money. If it came from Qatar, it's, Sunnis giving Sunnis money. It's some damn Muslims. So they actually made him put it in writing that he wanted them to take the money he gave to them and deliver it to Hamas. And he did. So there you go. All right, guys. Well, silver, 150 to 300, and that's just the way it's going to be, Invite Hamid Zidi to co-host now. No. I would say that you're looking at, if it's going to hit 300, it's going to take all of this year. Because when I see, and I make this mistake over and over again, but it's a mistake that I can live with. I'd rather err on the side of caution. So I always say the same thing. Inflation's coming. Well, I say that when it's coming. I haven't said it until just recently, but the last time I said it was several years ago when the stimmies happened. I would say that my feeling about this inflation, because of how much oil has gone up, because we've had this. I just saw today, I couldn't believe it. I didn't realize, I don't pay that close enough attention apparently, but everywhere I looked today, it was $5 a gallon here in Phoenix. $4.99 to $5 a gallon. Oh God, that $40 a gallon in Cuba that is just terrible. That is awful. By the way, one of you guys, who shall remain nameless, Ray, bought some silver from one of the TikTok shops, and we can't even figure out what the hell it is. It's not silver. They are absolutely counterfeit, though. No question about them. And so one's an Indian head, like a buffalo, round. The other one is an American silver eagle that apparently, and he's going to send a couple of them to me, apparently is extremely accurate, very shiny, looks legit. But when he took him down to his buddy who has an actual silver tester, they're not silver. What are they? I don't know. We're going to find out. I'm going to get a hold of them, and I'll run them through a whole bunch of chemical tests. $6 a gallon in Michigan. God, think about all the people in Michigan just coming out of a really crazy winter. They want to go on vacation. They want to enjoy themselves. They can't go anywhere. They can barely hold on right now. $6. That's outrageous. That's out-fucking-rageous. What was it in Michigan? What was it, let's say 8 months ago, Tony? Was it $3-4 a gallon? Because I mean, it was $60. It was $60 a barrel. Let's see what we got here. Let's take a look. This is just, really, it really pisses me off to see this stuff. It's why I don't look at it during the day while I'm doing research. I try not to look at certain things that I know are going to piss me off. Wow. All right, let's see. What do we got here? All right, we got crude at $100 a barrel. Okay. So over the last year, what is that? That's up 76% in 1 year. Now, is that because there's not any oil left and blah, 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 and we got to do all these crazy things and worry about consumption? No, it's none of that. It's none of that. The reason that it's here instead of at, let's see, 78% would put it in the mid to high 50s. No, in the mid 60s. From mid 60s to 100 would be about 75%, and we're at 75%. Okay, so that's it. A year ago we were at let's take a look. 59. Okay, so from 59 to 100, and almost all of that is from, let's see, February 25th until now. It was only at 65. It'd gone from 60 to 65 over an entire year. On February 25th, it was at 65, and now it's at 100. So really, it's gone up in the last 6 months, 70%. No, Freebird, whatever you got, give me a call. I'll help you get started. My number's up there in the bio. Send me a text in the morning. Do you think that they'll go back to the odd even thing for getting gas? No. We have plenty of gas. We have plenty of oil. It's just a matter of cost. See, for us, it's not a shortage of supply, but we have to compete with other countries that do have a shortage of supply. So they're willing to pay $110, $120 a barrel when, if they didn't need it so desperately, if the whole world had as much as we have, it'd be $40 a barrel. So let's check that out. Let's see what we've got here. Back in 1998, it was $11 a barrel. Okay, let's see. In 2008, it was 40. In 2016, it was 30. By the way, March of 2020, it shows here $18, but there were a couple days where it was actually negative. You had to pay somebody to take your oil, literally. Back in 08, it was, in June of 08, it was 140, which is one of the reasons that the shit hit the fan so hard in 08. And it went from 140 in June of 08 to 41 in January of 09. So over the course of 6 months, it dropped by $100 a barrel. Now, why is that? Well, because there was an election. Oh, wow. Well, that's pretty rough. Yeah. Well, the guy that they wanted in there, Bush, had gotten his 2 terms, and there's nothing more they could wring out of it. They didn't think that what's his name was going to get in there. So they just said, let's have some fun with this. So it went up. It skyrocketed. By the way, that's the most we've ever paid was 140. Back in 2022, after it dropped to $18 a barrel, the oil producers around the world realized that, oh shit, we lost a lot of money. All right, well, let's just come up with bullshit excuses and drive the price up. And they drove the price up from March of 2020. By March of 2022, it was $104 a barrel. $104 a barrel, yeah. And it finally topped out at 114 the next month. And then dropped all the way back down to $57 a barrel last November. $57 a barrel. Not cheap, but not bad. And now it popped back up to the highest it's been so far was 105. Yeah, folks, this is it's not good. This is not good. You think that's what we did? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There's no question in my mind. This is what happens when you shut down the Middle East. And this isn't going to change for quite a while. Somebody bombed the UAE this morning. The UAE says we got bombed. Iran says it wasn't us. Okay, well, who bombed the UAE? I mean, somebody did it. And here's the craziest part. Whoever did it wanted the UAE, who just broke away from OPEC, to not be able to produce all the oil they said they were about to start producing. They could have easily driven the price way down. With the United States, Venezuela, and the UAE producing at 100%, we could have driven the price down below $40 a barrel. And, when was it regularly $40 a barrel? Like as an actual price and not just a blip? 2004. 2004 was the last time it was reliably at that price. So we're not running out of oil. And yet when you look at the charts and the graphs from 1986, when it was $13 a barrel, until 1999, when it was $12 a barrel, what is that? There's no movement there. Well, okay, what about end of 2001? At the end of 2001, it was 19. It moved up a little bit. But from there, we started invading countries in the Middle East. And within 8 years, it was 140. Well, then we went into a really bad recession and it dropped back down. And then it was just cruising along in the 70s and 80s, hit 100 a couple times. And then in 2015, it dropped back down to 47. And then by November of 2016, it was 33 again. Hey, we're on our way back to the 90s. No, we're not. Because from there, it just went bananas again. And it stayed way up there. $70, $80 a barrel. And why does it have to be that high? It doesn't. Doesn't have to be that high at all. Not even close to that high. It's that high because we want it to be that high. Well, let's see. Okay, silver's up to 76. Okay. 76, let's see. Yeah. Okay. Gold's up about $100 today. So as usual, sounds great. Wow, up $100. But then you look at the actual percentages. Gold's up 2%, silver's up 3.7. It's always better. I'm telling you guys, it's just always better. Always buy silver. Gold is pretty, but silver will help you get her done. And that's really what you want. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Let's talk tomorrow, and hopefully you'll buy some silver and you won't have to worry about this crazy inflation that's racing towards us. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging in there with me. It's been kind of a quiet night over here, but let's call it a night. Do it tomorrow. Do it again.